What is going on, guys? Zach Sharps here from Lugo Entertainment, here with my Star Wars The Old Republic Shadow of Revan first impressions as of level 58. Now, in this first impressions, I'm going to cover the features of the expansion and what I think of them, and also tell you guys a little bit about my experience as of my newest level 58. So I just dinged level 58 tonight. I decided, hey, I need to do a first impressions for you guys. So this is what that's going to do, is give you guys my experiences with the game thus far, now that the new expansion is live. So let's go ahead and get into the features. So first off, the story of the expansion is that Revan, a very popular character of Knights of the Old Republic, who was once killed, is now reborn. He makes a grand entrance at the end of the prologue of the new expansion, basically saying, hey, my Revanites are going to come kick your ass, be prepared, we're going to take over, and then he just vanishes. You have to track him down and basically figure out what his plan is. Oh, I mean, obviously we already know what his plan is. He wants to take over the galaxy, but we got to figure out what his plan is so we can make sure that his plan doesn't come in fruition and end up basically putting Revan back in his grave. So that's sort of the storyline. Obviously there's a lot more politics and stuff like that that goes into the storyline of this expansion, but I just wanted to brief over it really quickly without going into much detail. There is a new level cap of 60, which is 5 levels up from the old level cap in Rise of the Hutt Cartel, which was 55. There's 2 new planets, Rishi and Yavin 4, 2 new flashpoints, Blood Hunt, which is what you guys are seeing in the background, and another one, which I've not done yet, 4 new hard mode flashpoints, which we can only think of Blood Hunt's probably going to be a hard mode flashpoint, and then there's going to be 3 other ones. Then there's also 2 level 60 operations, which are the raids within Star Wars Old Republic. There's also the new discipline system, which replacing the talent tree system that we had once before. With the discipline system, think of World of Warcraft's talent trees, which I'll go ahead and talk about here in a second, because that's one of the things that I'm concerned with this expansion. Then there's also the fact that 6 companions, where before it was 5, can now be sent on skill missions. So you can go ahead and send them out to do missions such as gathering, scavenging, bioanalysis, diplomacy, so on and so forth, where it's basically up from 5, because before you could only send 5, now you can send 6. What are my thoughts on this expansion? So let's go ahead and cover the first planet I went to after the prologue. There was a long 3-hour prologue, sent you through 4 different flashpoints. Very cool introduction, although I believe some of the content within the prologue was already available before the initial launch of the expansion, so that's a shame, but at least they shaped it with the storyline of the expansion to get you hyped up for the content that you're about to go in. Once you finish the prologue, though, you basically end up being about level 56 or close to 56 if you're not a subscriber. So you gain a level through the prologue, and you also gain 300 commendations from the prologue as well. So if you're close to capping your commendations, you want to make sure that you spend some of them before, or just not activate the tokens once you get done with the prologue. Just leave them in your inventory, pop them in your bank, and worry about them later once you're capped. So the first planet you end up going to after the prologue is Rishi. Rishi is a very jungle dense planet that has shipwreckage, piracy, and just a whole lot of awesome. Honestly, Rishi has been one of the most captivating planets for me as a gamer in quite some time. And I know that sounds a little bit fanboyish, because you guys know I do like Star Wars The Old Republic quite a lot, but honestly, after the last expansion, Rise of the Hutt Cartel, I wasn't expecting much from this expansion, but what I've noticed is they've really put a lot of effort in making this the burning crusade of Star Wars The Old Republic, essentially the expansion that is going to boom them for the future to bring in a lot more players, because why else would they have went back to Revan? And people could say, oh, it was a cash cow move, but that's really why Blizzard went with the Burning Legion, because they knew that people wanted to see the Burning Legion, and they had a lot of questions that they wanted to answer about the Burning Legion, and so they wanted to delve into that. They wanted to grab the best player on their team and really put them to work to make plays for their popularity, so that way the game could grow at a massive rate. And so Shadow of Revan does that really well, and they really up their game with Shadow of Revan, despite a little bit of lag issues and stuff like that, and a little bit of other complaints I'll delve into in a moment. But Rishi really set the tone for the content that you're going to consume within this expansion. It's jungle dense, it's beautiful, every single part of it looks like concept art. I mean, honestly, if you take a screenshot, bam, a concept art picture. It looks beautiful. And so Rishi, being that it's a jungle dense area, some people can think of it sort of like a Far Cry 3-ish area. If you're not really a fan of Star Wars and you need a modern day gaming comparison, Far Cry 3 is definitely going to be a comparison for you. That's what it sort of looks like. And so Rishi, you go there, you get into some politics within the expansion. Everyone thinks that you're some badass pirate, even though you're really not. You're just a Darth. I mean, Darths are badass, but everyone thinks that you're some badass pirate because there was intel from some other pirate that you're a badass pirate and you're flying in, and you end up flying in. So everyone's like, oh my god, you're a badass pirate, and they're afraid of you, they respect you, some of them want to kill you. And so it creates a political landscape of everyone on this planet thinks you're someone who you're not, and you can sort of tell people, hey, I'm not a freaking pirate, but it still sort of carries on that stigma, hey, this guy's a pirate, because everyone thinks you're a pirate. And so there's a lot of quests, a lot of missions, and a lot of story that's based around that. It's based around, hey, just play the part so that way you can gain intel, because these people respect you as this so-called pirate. That way you can get some intel about the Revanites. And so Rishi really does a good job of not necessarily hand-holding you into the storyline, but really setting the tone for the storyline that's going to take place. A very political, a very, I guess you could say, it's not as simple of a storyline as you would get from, say, World of Warcraft. There's a lot of politics that go on. There's a lot of hints towards lore of the past that go on, and it really does a good job of providing a very elegant landscape for you to basically venture through. So really great planet so far. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, level 58, I've gained 2 levels in Rishi, and so I've had a really good time going through this planet because it's just beautiful, very well laid out. The only thing that I really don't like about Rishi is how small it is and how condensed it is. I feel like it's a little bit too small, and that might be because I haven't really dove too far into Rishi yet. I feel like there's more there, but it also could be what they had with Rise of the Hutt Cartel. The Rise of the Hutt Cartel expansion, those planets were small as well. I hope that's not the case, but that's something that I didn't like, is the fact that this planet seems very, very small. And not small in the sense of like how, you know, big it is area-wise, but it feels like there's a lot of corridors and not really a lot of vast openness like I wish that there was. As far as the flashpoints go, you guys in the background are seeing right now Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt is the first flashpoint that you go into within the storyline after the prologue within Shadow of Revan. And Blood Hunt features the first edition, or rather the first taste you get of the solo mode for flashpoints now. Obviously within the prologue you get solo mode as well, but this time it really shows you, hey, do you want to play solo or do you want to play as a group? And you get to choose that option when you walk into the portal. Where the prologue, it was automatically just assigning you as solo. So you got to see now there's a solo mode for flashpoints. That way you can capture the story without being nudged into skipping the story because people are like, I want to go through this at super fast mode. My time is so important. I need to get this done because my mommy's telling me to go to bed. It's just so much better to have a solo mode. That way the first time you go through it, you can enjoy it. The next time you can go through with the group and get better gear and go through it tactfully. So the solo mode is really great. It gives you a heal bot, you get your companion, so it's basically a 3-person party essentially. You have 2 AI and yourself, and depending on what your companion is, you're gonna have a good time or you're gonna have a challenging time. I did wipe the first time I went through this by myself on the first boss, but I didn't realize that there was healing orbs on the side because a lot of the bosses within the solo modes have healing stations, so you can go to them via an orb or a healing station or whatever the case may be. There's typically something special there that will heal you. I forgot about that and I ended up dying. So they do provide some challenge if you don't know what you're doing, but typically they are very tank and spankish, stay out of the fire, and you're typically good to go. And there's also ads and stuff like that. Now within the prologue, there was really cool different things I had to do because I had Treek as a tank, and because I had Treek as a tank, there was one boss I had to drag into the fire to do a lot of damage on him, and so Treek was tanking it, so I had to pull Treek back by putting her up as passive, and that way I pulled her into the fire with the big bad that I was facing, the boss. and then I, had to put her back on aggressive as soon as, he got in the fire. And so I had to do that throughout the boss fight. It was a really cool dynamic, but the Blood Hunt's Flashpoint as a whole does not really contain any really amazing sequences other than the last boss. The last boss is pretty cool. She has a floor that's like a grid, and then at some parts of the fight, that grid becomes inflamed and you have to move into the squares that are not on fire. It kind of reminded me a lot of the Butcher fight in Diablo 3, or basically one other fight that I've done in one of the Flashpoints in the launch of Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's one of the older Flashpoints. I can't remember its name, but we've seen the mechanic before. It's just cool that it made its return because it's very pretty on the eyes. Let's put it that way. But none of the Flashpoint's mechanics are very complicated, but that's not, anything that I expected. I expected it to be somewhat simplistic, but active enough where you had an enjoyable experience and you got to capture the really good storyline that is in Star Wars: The Old Republic. And it also tied within the story, which is also something else that needed to be done, and it was done. So they did a really good job of intertwining everything and making it so it completely all relates back to what storyline you're going through within Shadow of Revan. Now, the 4 new hard mode dungeons, or flashpoints rather, I've not done any of them. I can't comment on them. Same with the level 60 operations, although I did do an operation earlier tonight, which was the Rise of the Hutt Cartel operation, just to go in it because I didn't really get a chance to go through that operation. But I thought it was a really fun operation to go through. Very long, but nothing related to Shadow of Revan. But you could certainly do it if you want to get some more comms. Really good source for comms. So I do definitely recommend people who are going into Shadow of Revan to go back and do those operations. That way you can get those comms, get those weeklies done, and get more comms. So when you're 60, you can get more gear at a quicker pace. Then there's also the new discipline system. This is where I'm going to get a little bit pissed off. The new discipline system essentially replaces the 3 talent tree system that they once had before, where you go up a specific tree, or you can hybrid out and branch out in your own way. You can create your own class, essentially, your own specialization. You can make a hybrid healer, you can make a hybrid tank, you could do whatever the hell you wanted, but now you can't really do that because this new discipline system, it tells you what spec do you want to go into. You click your alternate DPS specs, you can pick your tank spec, you can pick your healer spec, and then once you're in that spec, you're locked in that spec. You can't hybrid whatsoever. And then you get random utilities that you get to choose from, a maximum of 7 at level 60, but people who are just entering the expansion are going to have 6 unspent talent points. They're going to go into their utilities. They're going to pick between 3 different tiers of utilities. There's going to be 3 of the, I think it's simple, and then masterful, and then elite. So it goes a 3, 2, and 2. And essentially each of the utilities are the exact same skills / passives you would have got through the freaking talent tree, but you are basically handheld with the other ones. So it shows a path on the left side that shows your different skills that you get as you go through your levels, which is fine. I don't ever, I'm not ever mad about information being on my screen. But then the utilities are, like I said, they're basically a very simplistic form of the talent tree. They don't let you hybrid, they don't let you customize your class, because no matter what you do with these utilities, you cannot fuck up your character. It's all going to be choices that are completely unrelated to a discipline system, as they say. Discipline, to me, means disciplining a person into knowing what's good for them, whether it's by them failing and ruining their class, or by them succeeding and basically being able to create a very powerful class because they made the right choices. In an MMO, I never believe that you should be handheld to the point where you can make a completely wrong choice but still have a powerful character. And in the old system, if you made a wrong choice, you would gimp your character, but in the new system, you make a wrong choice and your character's still dandy as ever. It's complete bullshit. And so with this new system, I think it's trash, but it's still better than World of Warcraft's talent tree system. It's very close to being the same, but with World of Warcraft, it's even more sugar coated, because the only real difference that you're going to get within World of Warcraft is you're going to get maybe a little bit more DPS out of your spec, where within Star Wars The Old Republic, there's some different utilities within there that could be really detrimental to your class, where other different utilities are not really that needed. So it's a little bit more punishing than World of Warcraft system, but it's still very much like World of Warcraft system, where no matter what you do, you cannot completely fuck up your character like you could once before, and I really fucking despise that. I hate being handheld. I like the old system where there's trees I can go through. I could pick really terrible choices if I'm a noob. I could pick really great choices if I know what I'm doing, and that's it. Now, I also believe, and I really, really love Rift system. They're souls. You could fuck up so badly with those. There's only a few good soul choices that you can make to make a powerful character, but at least there's a lot of choices for you. They don't just fucking put you in a locked discipline with a fucking tree that has a little bit of utilities that you get to pick from, but none of them really affect you that much. I mean, yes, you can make a very powerful character with the utilities. That's definitely fine, but you can't really fuck up your character. So I'm going to end my rant there about that, but I really do not like the discipline system over the old talent trees. So moving on to the companions, obviously adding another slot for your companions to go out and do skill missions is fine. I like that they improved the companion system to the point where instead of having 5 companions that can go out and do a skill mission, now there is 6. That's pretty cool, but very simplistic of a change. So overall, guys, how do I feel about Shadow of Revan? Do I think it's worth $20? Do I think it's worth you guys subscribing? Well, let me wrap it up this way. Shadow of Revan is going to be, in my opinion, so far from what I've experienced, despite the hatred I have for the discipline system, it feels like to me it's going to be the Burning Crusade as what Shadow of Revan is basically going to be for Star Wars The Old Republic. It's going to be that popular. And the reason why I think it's going to be that popular, I don't think that they're going to cross like 10 million subscribers or whatever. I think they're going to see a really good influx of subscribers. I think they're going to see a huge influx of free-to-play activity and preferred activity and item all activity, because Shadow of Revan, Rishi, the planet I went on so far, is really, really good. It's really, really fun. I've enjoyed it quite a lot so far, and I'm very excited to see what Yavin 4 has in store, and I've really enjoyed the politics of the storyline on Shadow of Revan, and I really like Revan as a character. So combined with good characters, great voice acting as ever, you know, BioWare's really known for great voice acting, combined with really awesome choices that you get to make, and also the politics that is thrown at you within this expansion. And not only that, but also the quality of the art, the graphics of the expansion, the sound, the atmospheres, and also the flashpoint that I was able to go through so far. I'm really, really liking it, and I'm even liking the class changes. You know, despite the discipline system, the balancing and the improvements they've done to each individual class so far has been really, really welcome, and I'm really liking what they did with my sorcerer. I'm very, very mobile. I like how they put procs as shining icons on your bar instead of you having to look at tooltips. So they've done a lot of minor quality of life improvements, a lot of balancing improvements too that were really well done and implemented. So I got to applaud BioWare for the majority of this expansion. However, a lot of things can change from here and when I'm in endgame. For all I know, Rishi could be as small as I think it is. For all I know, Yavin 4 could be even smaller or just a disaster in the way it's designed. For all I know, the newer flashpoints that I go into could be rehashes or completely retarded to go through. For all I know, the storyline could flesh out, or it could just completely fall flat at the end. But what I see right now is a great expansion from BioWare for $20. Is it worth subscribing? That is up to you. You can buy the expansion for $20 and not subscribe. That's completely fine. But right now, I honestly would recommend the expansion at $20. It's a great deal, especially if you look at an expansion called Warlords of Draenor that was 10 levels, but it was for $50. This is $20 for 5 levels. So even if you combine, and add 5 more levels to it, and you double the price, it's still $10 cheaper than the biggest MMO on the market right now, at least the most well-known MMO on the market right now within World of Warcraft. So it's a good deal in my opinion. You're going to get hours of enjoyment from it, and I have just scratched the surface of this expansion, and I'm very excited to hop back into it and enjoy it even further. As for myself though, guys, make sure to comment, rate, favorite, and subscribe. If you've hopped in the expansion, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Make sure to like the video, favorite as always, follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/LugoEntertainment, Twitter at ZachSharps. But as always, guys, I will catch you guys next time.